This is important. All right. So welcome, everyone. The reason I wanted to have these discussions is because we are in a very important times where we as humanity really are going through the exact same circumstances, right? We have an opportunity where we are all experiencing the same kind of similar circumstances background, yet we are all having a different experience. And I think it's important that we're going to start having actually real heart-centered, open and grounded conversations of how we are all dealing with this and how we are all riding these happenings, these unprecedented times on Earth, which means basically the rock has been stripped out of our feet, really, and we have all halted the way. It was a big pause and a big stop of the way things were going. And so I invited here you guys today because I really believe in your work. I personally know all of you. I really resonate with your energy and your work and your passion. And I think it's really important that we also all come out with our own personal experience and bring in our own scope. So today my focus is in the human experience. Because we all can have our different visions and different trainings and teachers and mastery, yet we all have something really obviously in common, which is we're human. We're human experiencing many realities in one reality, right? So I really want to focus today in your human experience during this time. So before that, I'm just going to ask you to take a deep breath with me. Give it a good shake. Yeah, so we become a bit out of our head and into our hearts. For whoever will be listening or watching this video in this timeline and many timelines to come, take a deep breath with me. And just allow yourself to be here. Beautiful. All right, so I'm going to give a briefly introduction of each one of the people that are here, the human beings that are here to chat. And then we'll go on, and really it's a conversation. So I'm gonna introduce you guys, and then we're gonna go through the first question, and you guys take your turn. And really I want it to flow. Let's just flow with what comes. We don't really need to, this is not scripted. None of you have really, I know that you are really genuine, open-hearted human beings, and that's what it is about. So I'm going to start with introducing Jen Goa. Maybe you want to wave, Jen? Right. Okay, that's Jen. She is a crystal energy healer and an energy coach. Her main tools are her crystals, which we all know they are amplifiers of energy and beautiful bridge of different realms, right? She also works with the archangels, and some of us look at the archangels as arc rays or basic beautiful energy rays that assist and have been assisting humanity in our process. She also works with the Arcturians, which is a collective healers energy. And she also obviously believes in that everything is energy, and she is really advocate for self-work, because through self-work you can become your best self. Hence we can all become the highest version of humanity that we want. But it comes back to self-work. If we don't do the work personally, then we're not, that we can start outside, right? Do I get it right, Jenny?
You got it absolutely right. Thanks, Mary.
Okay, phew. Right, next one I've got, Chrissy. So, yay! Right, Chrissy works with women. She is She really is into exploring the sacred heart and the true self. She inspires women to dive deeply into their feminine power and embrace their individual uniqueness. She facilitates retreats, workshops, and ceremonies. She is very connected with the energy of the Universal Mother, and her language is that of compassion and love. And I'm not Chrissy, and one of the things I feel around Chrissy is that centeredness and peace. I will put all of you, if you want to contact each one of today's participants, I will put it on the descriptions once we post this video. All right, so that's Chrissy. All right. If I miss anything, please let me know, right? Okay. Dr. David Weller. He has a PhD in molecular biology, microbiology, chemistry. He is a registered medical technician in Medical Sciences Council of New Zealand. He is a researcher and consultant of Ayurvedic and naturopathy. He's a tutor and practitioner of integrative quantum healing therapy, Bach flower remedies, flower essences, and trained massage therapist and ozone therapist. Those are big words, but it takes that means
already.
it's a lot of work that David has gone. I know David personally. He's an amazing human being, a great dancer. He has.
I haven't been doing much of that lately.
Well, we got to get back to it because it's part of your human experience, David. He has a center, a Natun Heal Center, offering the space to us that are facilitating different therapies. And he practices there, but he's also created a beautiful heart center, high energy space in Wellington. I haven't finished with David because he's got a bit of a journey. His mission, he feels, is to bridge the gap between science and sacred ancient wisdom and spirituality, which is, it's very important nowadays, truly, because we have all been part of that waffle of nothingness, but also that stronghold of science is the only truth. But in reality, it's both. We need to merge, we need to marry science with spirituality. And that's the really true aspect of the Aquarian era, right? Merging.
And getting rid of misinformation, eh?
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, welcome, David. I could go on a little bit with his work, but in a human experience, he is an awesome human being, that's for sure.
Thank you.
All right, Kalpana Gandhi, which I love your name, Kalpana. She is an educator for awakening our inner truth and magnificence. She's an earth worker for New Earth Consciousness, facilitator of healing, tapping into pure light consciousness of all creation. Kalpana has connected to ancient civilization of Lemuria and Mu for the past 3 years, and she is being prepared and nurtured into new beginnings for the Aquarian age. Right now, she's in a state that she is wherever she is, and she is perfect the way she is. She's just being, right, Kalpana?
Thank you. It's very sweet, thank you.
Okay, and for me, I am a media and communication bachelor with a master's in journalism, hence I'm doing this, and I really love communicating and putting people together. That's one of my real passions. Very grounded, creating space and placing people together, creating community. Because I believe isolation doesn't lead us anywhere, and it's the opposite, it's coming together. I am a frequency therapist, work with tuning forks and toning and light language for my therapies. And I want to become more in tune and more, bring in more the ability to co-create together in community. My real passion is bringing people together, working together, and action. Being and becoming who we truly want to be and become in the now with no excuses, right? Okay, beautiful. All right. So one of the first I was musing the other day with my partner. We have our morning sessions and we talk about how we're feeling, and we navigate with what's going on. And one of the things I thought, and I came up, and that's why I summoned you here, is how are we navigating these current planetary times? And how we all have our own way and our own tools and our own inner knowledge to actually go through this experience. Because for me personally, I started with the lockdown really like, woohoo, great, I've done this. I'm really happy in my environment anyway. I do my yoga, like blah, blah, blah. Perfect. Day 14 hits and I'm like overwhelmed with information. The noise that was outside in the street went inwards. My thought is, my mind is like overwired. And I'm suddenly going, oh my God, this is insane. I felt it and I was like, whoa, okay, I need to shut down the media, social media, and I need to really ground myself and go back to my tools, which in particular for me works the breath. I do breath work, Kundalini breath work and yoga. And even that, I found it quite challenging. So I had to dive deeper into what it is to be a human being in this now, even though I have all these tools and all these years of self-mastery. So with that in mind, I want to ask each one of you, how have you been navigating these times? What practical tools you have utilized that have worked, or maybe they haven't? Where are you right now as a human being? Go on, someone.
Okay, I'll just mention a little bit. Yeah, a lot of information. I guess I feel a bit overwhelmed because I'm trying to run my business, and so for me, the worry is around the business and keeping the kids safe at home. And so, while my partner is an essential service worker, so when I see people talking on social media saying, "Oh, how wonderful! I've got all this time." I see photos of people, having their siesta in the afternoon and everything. And I'm thinking, how wonderful. But for me, it's a different world. It's a different reality. And it's a reality of being busier than before, actually, because there's education, there's food preparation, there's kids, and then there's supermarkets, cook chores. So Karina comes back with the food and the decontamination of the food. And so all of these things we didn't do before, you see, we didn't decontaminate the food. So that's half an hour gone just by doing that. There's another half an hour from going to the supermarket because of the queues and the one-to-one and all that kind of thing. So time is a bit of a kind of a cloud at the moment, which has transformed into something else. But the way I've been coping with that and the amount of information that I have to digest every day, because I'm thinking, well, yeah, I can shut the media off, but in my position, I can't do that because I need to be up to date with what's happening for businesses, what's happening with subsidies and this and the other and tax. And although it's a world that I don't want to be in, that is my reality. And so I do absorb a lot of information every day. I do understand what you mean, Miriam. I do get overloaded as well with that information. And sometimes I feel my head is just gonna explode because you've got to digest it, you've got to implement it somehow, and you've got to decide, well, what shall I do with all of this information? And the next day you've got a whole lot of more information, which is new, and law changes and all sorts of things going on, apart from being inside. So yeah, there is a lot for everybody, and in my case, I guess no, not really fear. For me, it's been more anxiety. The anxiety feeling of going, I'm getting nervous. I need to sort all of this out, and it kind of seems never ending. It actually seems like I never have time for anything. So the way I've been coping with that is just going out to nature every day. For me, that has worked really well and is what I look forward to every day, is going out for our 1 hour, 1.5 hour walk. Every day is a different place, a different hill, a different track, a different kind of section of the beach or road or whatever where we're going. We don't kind of travel more than 3 or 4 kilometers really. But we try to find different points and playing a little bit, being playful, so that you can forget about that adult stuff.
Yes.
Breath work as well. When I feel that strong feeling inside of me that I'm gonna kind of suffocate, I just start breathing and I breathe. I breathe several times a day. Even when I'm doing stuff, I just start deep breathing to release all of that.
Yes.
A bit of meditation and sometimes a bit of kung fu with the kids. So we connect remotely to sessions once or twice a week, and that's a way of having fun as well. And so kind of emptying your head a little bit. So that's how I've been dealing with that.
A lot of people will relate to that, David. A lot of people relate to that. A lot of people are actually very busy with kids and life and businesses and all that. So it's a real reality. And the time aspect has been really interesting for me as well. It's like there's never enough time. How have you been dealing with it, Chrissy or Jenny or Kalpana? What is your take?
I actually had very similar experience to you, and it's I got a little overwhelmed with the news, but by the way, to you, Miri, so I kind of detached from the news, and I had to go in and empty myself. I found that it almost began feeling a bit hypnotic, because when that's all you listen to. It's everywhere you look. And so I virtually it was like, okay, it was like, when I get into a place where I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed or stressed, the first thing I do is my breath work. But I actually find that physical exercise really, really shifts your whole perspective. And I've just been so blessed. I'm normally one to go for a bushwalk. I love earth. A bushwalk or a walk around, down the beach, but I can't do that. So I jump on my bike and I just release. I mean, it could be from tears to all sorts of breath work to epiphanies to just the sheer beauty of, it kind of really makes you realize how fortunate we are. One day I remember biking past a family and I just burst into tears. It's just the love that came out of me. Just, I don't know, but it's just that love and the appreciation of beauty at another level. I have had my ups and downs, and what resonated with me is my usual practices didn't work. Now that was really interesting, and it made me actually think, and I kind of came to the realization that as you evolve, everything changes, and so your practices will evolve with you, and so it's a matter of changing what you do so it's a little bit more effective. So that was a really quite,
putting it to the test. We're being put to the test. What really actually is in practicality working, and what was just a concept, or I thought that it would work, but in the reality is how can I stay sane and centered and present amongst the things. Right?
That's the next thing too, is it was a huge test to stay present, because I tell you that did not always work. And I went, I kind of found myself on like highs and lows because I lost that presence. But with the presence was you're embracing each moment. Every moment is a new experience. And that was really loud and clear, because every moment we could be in different realms of awareness and consciousness. And that actually did take me for a little bit of a journey, and quite a big journey. But it was like that realization came to me, is that our awareness changes depending on our level of consciousness. And it can happen very, very quickly, from one moment to the next, or
From one
half a
thought
day
to the next,
morning to
really.
evening.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Yeah.
And there's another huge epiphany too. And it was, and this stuff we practice all the time. It's just weird. But obviously I lost sight of it. And that was detachment. It's like, oh my, it's like, let everything go. There's nothing we need to hold on to. It's like being in the moment of pure presence. And holding on to stuff just weighs us down, and we just can't think clearly. So we just need to let go, let go, let go, embrace what's coming our way, whatever it looks like. However, it's just, some huge lessons. That hasn't been rosy at all. But I've had some beautiful, blissful moments, and some really yucky moments as well.
Thank you.
It's just, yeah. So,
All right.
Touching on what Kalpana was saying regarding finding those moments and detaching, I found that for me, I'm really present in this experience, and I'm actually really enjoying it. For me, this time out is giving me the time to connect and be with myself again. And one of the things that I totally forgot I absolutely loved was to dance. And so for me,
you've got a partner right there.
There you go. Just to detach and to free your spirit and to connect to yourself and to energize and all of those good things to really get you pumped. I was listening to music and just not thinking about how I was moving my body, but moving my body, and I totally loved it. And it made me cry, because there were so many different emotions that came with that. Like initially it was like, oh my gosh, I've forgotten how much I love to dance. I think the adult part of me had just kind of moved it to the side and didn't make it a priority. But in that moment, my inner child was laughing her ass off. She was dancing, she was crying, she was I can't explain the experience I had from the first time that I did that. So for me, that was one of my biggest kind of epiphanies, if you like. Out of all of the chaos, I was just being me. I was just being with myself in that moment, and just allowing the music and the vibrations from the music to just flow through me and move my body. And it was beautiful. I really felt nourished after it. And it's a kind of distraction, but not. It's an empowering distraction, I kind of feel. So for me, this time has been about nourishing my body, my mind, and my soul, and reconnecting all of those things that outer distractions normally would take precedence. Like we'd have to be somewhere, or we'd have to go and meet somebody, or dress a certain way, or be a certain way. So this has allowed me to really be like, okay, I'm present. What do I want to do? How do I want to feel? And so I've been connecting, I've been nourishing my mind with spiritual online like courses and expanding my knowledge, because I'm all about self-growth and all that amazing things. With regards to my body, I've been doing quite a lot of salt bathing, as well as dancing and stretching and just things that I'd forgotten about.
Yes.
Really things that I'd forgotten about.
Your own retreats right there.
Pardon?
Sounds like you've been running your own retreat in there.
I know, it is. I do feel like I've been on a retreat. I really feel like this has been my deep dive into my next level and what I'm going to make me strong and focused for when I come out the other end, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm equipped with the knowledge and the goods that I need to go rock.
Which is
I really feel like that.
That would be our next question. But before we go to that of how we're going to get out of this and what's the next step for us, Jenny, you want to?
Yeah. So for me, it's been the way my mind works is a million things all at once. And it's all the time it does that. And it processes it and it doesn't tend to get overwhelmed. So when this first started happening, I'm actually a registered nurse. I've done 25 years in neonatal intensive care. So the first thing that I had was trepidation, a little bit of fear that they were going to ask me back and the front lines were going to be like some of the countries you've seen overseas. And the fear was me having to make the decision that's best for me, because I've moved on from nursing, even though that sort of thing's with you for forever. I have moved on from a lot of the ways of being in that world. So I had that first initial disruption, but I also have an innate desire to, I accidentally human watch and I accidentally world watch, not on a multi level way, but just, it's kind of like puzzle pieces just going click, click, click. So I've been really interested in what's going on. So I have been getting a lot of the feed of what's going on. Every now and then I have found myself getting caught up in something like because I know firsthand as a health professional, so when people are disregarding how it would be for health professionals, I found myself, winding up a bit about that. But overall, I feel really blessed, because I feel like this is an opportunity for the planet, for the universe, for the people, for the countries, for everything to take one heck of a deep breath and get back to, this is the opportunity to get back to the simple things that might mean a lot for you if that space is created for you. I actually did end up going back to work. I do my healing practice here, but I went back to the Ministry of Health and I did phone calling for them while they needed it. So it's been a funny old turn of events for me, really, but the overall feeling is one of gratefulness. I tend to create ease for myself because I focus on just allowing things to be. Like I say, I'm interested to see how it all unfolds. I think there's a huge purpose behind it. But I do have my ups and downs, and it's the key is to recognize when something isn't feeling right for you and to try and step away from that. So when I find myself buying into a thread of something, and it's not feeling nice for me, I switch that off in some way or another. And a little bit like Chrissy, I have been finding myself, I'm walking way more, exercising way more. I'm having a heck of a lot more Epsom salts and essential oil baths, just for like every second day, definitely more music in my life, a lot of family time, cooking, baking, teaching my daughter different things. Yeah, so it has been an interesting combination of busyness, a lot, I wouldn't say overwhelming for me, but a lot, but also of creating space and of doing and being, and but the overall theme for me is grateful and a little bit excited to see, hopefully the world will, take this opportunity and turn it into something amazing.
Yeah, it is like we're being asked to question a little bit what is essential. Even the word essential workers, I found that concept really interesting, because basically the people at the forefront picking up our garbage and our post officers and the people in the supermarkets, they are essential people, and without them, you really start thinking of how come our essential workers can be the lowest paid, right? And what is essential for a society to function as well. So obviously there's so many ways of start to take out a little bit of this and that we've created or co-created as human societies, and start re-questioning it And that's in the bigger picture. But that comes also for me, from my human experiences, what aspects of me are essential, that I reinforce, that I work with, and what does not serve me anymore. What is it that I am ready to let go of? What was I attaching to so much that when it came to a halt, I felt I was losing control? What is being in control? What is control? Where is the illusion of that? Where is it the expectation? What are my expectations? My expectations that suddenly the world fixes itself magically and we come out and we have new era. Beautiful, but still an expectation. Yeah. You're right. Still a magic pill. And it's like, hold on a second. No. We need to create this. And to create this from here to here, there's this distance. And actually, this is quite messy. So we need to look at it, and we need to clear it, and we need to discard. We need to, discern. We need to unearth. There's so much work to do. So me as well, I realized a lot of my mental attachment and my construct that I had built around my own bubble was a bit far-fetched, and I had to ground myself back and going, okay. From here to where I see this beautiful vision of humanity and my height, which I don't let go of. I don't, I'm an optimist. I still hold it there. And but then it was like, wow, there's no way we're going to get there in 3 months of lockdown or 3 weeks. There's no way that's going to happen. So how am I going to make it happen? And how am I going to contribute to that? And again, it comes back to me and you and us and ripple effect. Yeah. And I think one of the things that I really came to the conclusion is it is in my human experience that I can create a reality where I feel free, empowered, healthy, strong, and raw and sad and real and tired and overwhelmed. All of it is important. I'm not going to deny anymore anything that comes my way just because I'm supposed to be feeling constantly in my zen. That puts me in that attachment of reaching that, and I am denying my experience of feeling vulnerable and exhausted, like David, because I have to. Suddenly, my home is filled with 3 human moors, 1 dog, lots of dishes, and lots of washing. And it's true. The reality is there.
Yeah, I know.
And I think that I have to lock myself in my room. I'm gonna do yoga. No one talks to me, just to keep that sanity, right? But I'm sure the opposite would be true for someone that maybe doesn't have kids at home, and that maybe I have friends that have been feeling really, really isolated. Really struggling with that as well. And I'm thinking, wow, actually I'm quite blessed that I actually have all this life around me. So maybe I need to stop worrying into what's going to happen and being more present into what's happening right now. Yeah. I have the opportunity of a lifetime to be spending much more time with my family, really, truly, and learning much more with each other's interactions. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to fight with my partner or yell at my kids. It's again, human experience. Yeah. Back to core, right?
And
so that was, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was going to just say, I think this moment has given us this opportunity, has given us in this human experience to experience what we want and what we don't want. Regardless of how you're feeling at the moment, you're going to be able to identify small things that actually, I don't want to do this anymore, or that doesn't feel right. Look, I think that it's given people the freedom to understand what they actually want and what they don't want. So then they can take that moving forward and be like, okay, so I don't like going to work this early. How can I change that moving forward? So how do they change that moving forward? Once things have changed. And I think those small steps from identifying what people want and what they don't want from this experience gives them the tools to then implement small steps moving forward so that they get closer to that amazing image of humanity and where we want it to be, like full force, you know.
Mm-hmm. So that's the next question actually I had, is once this ongoing present moment keeps unfolding towards hopefully being able to reestablish some sense of normality, yet as I'm saying this, I'm thinking how the human mind wants to go back to some kind of normality, and what's normal anymore? What is it, right? So but even imagine where we can come back to something. What is it that you're looking forward to come back to? And what is, if there's anything new that you want to bring into your experience after this major learning time that we're going through?
For me, I think being social, because there's just literally me and my partner at home, it has allowed me to have all this amazing time, but I really miss connecting with people. I really miss that. And I don't necessarily feel isolated, but I like to have the choice of being with people and connecting and smiling at people. And you know, it's great to be able to communicate in this day and age by computers and phones, but it's not quite the same as like holding somebody's hand or giving them a hug or having that human connection for me and feeling them, you know. So it's making me a bit emotional actually talking about it. So for me, it's that human connection, that's being present with somebody in a moment. And I didn't realize how much I missed it until this now.
Yes.
Yeah, big.
I'll be the same.
Spiritual fog.
Yeah.
For me as well, you probably guess, but dancing I'm so going to take forward, but I feel like dancing in another level, like I just want to incorporate it more so into my practice.
Perfect.
And because for me, my spiritual side was just as alive in that dancing moment as it is when I'm meditating. So for me, that is definitely one of my moving more when we move, but like when my retreat time is kind of over, if you like.
Right. The computer just picked you, David.
I breathed. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Moving forward, I guess I've been thinking about, of course, you know, healing is my world right now, and what to do with that and how to do it in the future even better. Is it going to be incorporating remote sessions, which I've already been doing, of course? Is it going to be getting rid of a physical location? Is it going to be just expanding that location? I'm not sure yet. I don't have the answer, but I have been thinking about that. But most importantly, I think is about the 5D world is what is getting my heart ticking. And I think an important thing is actually focusing on the people that have already started elevating and creating, as you mentioned, Miriam, that ripple effect by you becoming the person whom you're surrounded by. If you surround yourself by high-level beings, you're gonna become the high-level being as well. And then you can take that and take it out to the world so that we can cause that ripple effect outside. And deciding, I guess, well, it's not so much who's worthy and who isn't, but rather who's ready and who isn't at this moment for this bubble. And then there'll be another bubble and another bubble and another bubble, all at different levels of frequency that might be able to merge later on. But I guess moving forward is, okay, who is the immediate bubble? And who are we going to work with together, as friends or workers, or just playful people, dancing people, whatever it takes, but to create that high energy so that we can transport that forward and start creating the 5D bubbles so that they start amplifying.
Yes, some of us call that bubbles of heaven or
Yes.
cities of light, right? And the truth is that they're not going to come magically and come down and we're going to see them and, oh, I'm going in. It was like, no, we got to create them. We are the builders of it. And how we do it? By collaboration, cooperation, co-creation. No competition. And that's in something that hopefully we can create, and we can stop someone in our tracks or our own self in our tracks if we're caught in the competition game. We stop it. It's not longer about them and us. It's all of us. And whoever resonates, like a puzzle piece, will resonate. And everybody is in own different level and frequency, no good or bad, no low or high. I think it's more about where are we in this evolving now. And we will we will magnetize with the people and the experiences and things that we need to magnetize. And then we're going to start creating bridges between these bubbles, right? To create a beautiful, just like the universe is, and just like, everything works. So that's beautiful, David. Thank you. Anyone else?
I totally resonate with that. Sorry to just jump in as well, but I totally resonate with that because for me, I'll be moving to Australia. So it will be connecting to high vibe people. I've been quite creative in this space with where I'm going to take my business in a new land and how I want to co-create with other people. So I think that is, I totally resonate with everything you just said, David and Miri, for sure.
Wonderful.
So for me, oh, sorry, you go,
No. I'm about to say I really don't have anything new because I resonate with what everyone is saying, and I'm actually feeling the same way. So I don't have anything to add at this stage.
Okay,
go for it.
Oh, cool. Thanks. So for me, I feel like there's not a lot that I'd actually change going forward because I was already on a path of growth and openness and becoming my truth, really. And I don't think that space has changed. In fact, if anything, I'd say that it's probably opened more, and there's more and more energies and more layers adding to that. And I'm excited about that because I know that my path is about my service to others as a healer, as an energy worker. And I know there's a lot coming in that space of where I will be doing a lot of work with people and for people for the greater good. So I'm really actually excited about that on a more smaller level. Well, it's not smaller actually, but I can't wait to connect with friends and family in person. I can't wait to eat my most favourite sushi from the shop at More Wilson's. I've really been missing that. It's silly. And I also can't wait to have a session with Miri. That's going to be fantastic. Back again to really grateful for all that this space has allowed, the good, the bad and the ugly. But I feel, overall very grateful, very calm, very peaceful about it and all the other things you guys have said.
All right.
I actually think, I just think that we'll probably, I have a probably a deeper appreciation for just the little things, of life. But what's really come of it is that human connection. Nothing beats that, the touch of the skin and just being with others. It's just, it's such, so simple. So.
And with that, I'm going to ask you, maybe you have done it, maybe you haven't, but biggest challenges. We keep if we are just focusing on what's coming next and what's outside and what we're going to do after. But right now, after this conclusion, in this moment in your life, with the people that you are living in, is it possible that we can come out of it and have a big group hug? You know, hug partner,
absolutely.
hug family, hug children, and say, hey everyone, let's stop for a moment. Let me take that iPad, that phone, get here, darling. Let's have a big hug here and let's just thank each other for being humans right now, because we're all having a very raw and difficult experience, right? And it's also acknowledging that and going back to our hearts as being human, which is we all want to feel connection, love, appreciation. So how are we connecting, loving, and appreciating others in our immediate bubble? That's where we start. Not when this is finished and I go and see my friend and hug her and say, oh, I miss you. Can I do the same right now if I go out of my room and say to Alex, here, let's have a big hug. We're high five, good team. It has been really hard, but thank you for helping out. Whatever it is, right? Yeah. And Oli has all his mess all over the lunch, and at some point I stopped picking up his clothes. And I'm like, it doesn't matter, right? It's over me. But it is that. I think that's the next. Is if we can do this right now as an exercise for us and for people that will be watching and listening to this, can we act right now with our immediate bubble? And do
I totally agree with that, because I've been thinking a lot about the mirrors. So, and the mirrors in your bubble. And so when you're going through those sticky points and the difficult times, the impatient times, okay, I've had enough of this. Why aren't you listening? Why are there more plates? Why are there more this? And suddenly you think, wow, shouldn't we be doing the opposite? But then suddenly the humanness comes and you go, oh, I lost my temper. Or I got angry, or, raised my voice. And then the next day it changes because there's a reflection going on there. And as you said before, it's identifying those moments and going, why did that happen? First, realizing that they happened. Second, questioning why. And third, okay, what can I do to change that? And so that it's always a heartful moment, regardless of what is going on outside and inside. And it sounds really easy, but I guess for all of us that we've been in these bubbles, we've realized that it actually isn't easy. And no matter how elevated you might think you are, because we still got this massive human presence just going and freaking out, even if it's just for 5 minutes. It could be for 10 minutes, it could be for 1 minute, it could be for half an hour or half a day. But, it's like, okay, how do you get over that so that doesn't happen again? So the next time it happens, it's for less time until you get to a point that it doesn't happen, that you just become the observer. So that's been my reflection, that's where I want to get to just no matter what's going on, no matter how stressful the moment can be, no matter how busy, no matter what the feelings are, you can just become a neutral observer and go, that's okay. We're going to do this or we're going to do that, or, and always try and be calm. So I think we've still got a bit of a road to travel to get to there.
Yes, because we can't just think peace. We have to be peace.
Yeah.
It's the only way. If we don't become what we want to become in the now, we will never get there, because it's always going to be ahead of us. So it's a trap.
I think this is maybe a good time to share, because I was going to share a couple of things that I thought that people could do to help with themselves. And I have this little sort of 2-step mantra sequence that I use all the time, and I even use it in my energy coaching with people. And the first is to just ask, does this serve me? So that, you can expand on that. Does this serve us as a family in our bubble? But you're coming from, does this serve me? Because how you are as a person, if you can get that more right, it's only going to express out to those around you. So it's okay to say, does this serve me? And of course, you can be thinking, does this serve the child or the partner I just yelled at, or whatever the scenario is? If the answer is no, then something needs to shift with that, right? And so that's where the second part comes in, and it's literally, how can I respond? Because you cannot control anything of any of the stuff around. You can't make him or her or the world or the bubble change. You can't do anything of that. So how can I respond? And that's where you get back to what David was just talking about, where you take a deep breath, or you become an observer, you step away from the situation, you learn. Things might gel a bit more the next day because of the exposure to that day. But yeah, I basically use this all the time. Does this serve me? The answer is no. How do I respond? How do I want to be responding to this? Yeah. So quite simple, but I think can be applied to pretty much anything.
Yeah, it's like I say sometimes when people are in crisis and they go, why this is happening? Why this is happening? Or why me? Why this is happening? Is the first thing the mind goes to, right? And it's like, well, let's stop right there. Forget the why. Is how am I going to get out of this? What am I going to do with this? It already happened. It doesn't matter why it happened. It happened. It's like getting caught up in creation, no? What started all this? Was it God? What was before God? Who created God? We can go how far? Does it matter? It matters that creation is here and we exist. We start right there. So whatever the situation is, it's not why. It's, well, let's focus in, okay, it happened. What then? How are we going to deal with this? How am I going to contribute to this? How am I going to shift from this? And I think that's, as a humanity, I think we're not the only 5 people here right now. Well, in our little universe we are, but I'm sure many of us, because we are collective and we're interconnected, right? So we are already all mirroring each other and accessing all this information and musings and aha moments, because it's already in the collective and we are already constantly, it's quantum. We're all shifting at the same time. And that's wonderful, because if we connect to this wave of, yes, this is hard, yes, this sucks, but yet here we are, that's it, we shift. Yes. What was that, David?
David?
Well, you mentioned quantum, so I've just pulled the quantum code up.
Yes. Yeah, David is great. Yeah, he does great work with codes and quantum codes for healing and all sorts of energy work, right? But we can have a different session for that, absolutely. Today we're running out of time in this now, and I really want to thank you for hearing my call and being brave to just do it, and in the hope is that whatever our message here today, whatever we discuss here today, it's a light or an aha moment or a realization for someone out there, and it inspires to create and to become in authenticity and truth of who we are. And hopefully that and I'm sure this will ripple. So I really appreciate each one of your points of view and your sharings and your amazing humanness in this call. And I thank you so much for joining. And hopefully you don't mind.
Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you. It's been wonderful. It's been fun.
And I'll be calling more often. We're going to do more calls. The next call will be about being present. With different people as well. We're going to have a Spanish one because I realized as well there's a lot of Latin American and Spanish speaking people, not only in New Zealand but around the world, that actually are connecting to our frequency and vibrations as well, David and me and have others. So I want to start also not forgetting that and bringing that in as well. And please, if any one of you think, oh, this person will be perfect for this discussion, or I know this person, Miri, that would love to have a chat about their experience, please let me know. And I put it out there for you guys that are watching. If you want to be involved, if you want to join my conversations, if you want to create something from this, hit me up. If you want to connect to any of these beautiful human beings, I will be putting all your information there if you allow me, either websites or emails. And if you feel like you want to share this in your own media channels or networks, if it's going to help someone, let's just expand this. So with the big I want to say thank you, and I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Bye.